Shalom and good day all. This is Tehillim29 back again. This time to do a trade review of Cover by Brian Michael Bendis and also David Mack, as they both work on the story. First of all, I'm going to cover some of the things that happen issue by issue and some of the main characters that also stand out. Within the first issue, we have Maxfield, who meets up with Julia, and in that process, a conversation after he catches up with Julia again comes up about a talk in reference to his dad. This introduction with Julia meeting up with Maxfield takes place in locations at a Comic-Con in Detroit, Michigan, and another one which takes place in Istanbul. By the time we move on to issue 2, we remain at Istanbul, to which we then meet up with Julia once again, and she uses this opportunity to recruit Maxfield to become a spy. Of course, he seems to have no decision in this if he can reject this post or this offering. And one of the people's names that come up is Esad Sins, who is in Turkey. Not long after that, we do end up heading back. We'll see some story around Chicago. Moving into issue 3, we still see Esad Sins and Maxfield, who has been recruited to do this work. In issue 3, we move to a place called Angoulême in France, which is a new location. We're not given a specific time, but the story still continues, it still flows. I'll be able to give the rating for the cover, plus the art and story after covering the issues. By the time we move on to the 4th issue, we are still in France and then slowly move into Cleveland, Ohio, to which there's an interrogation which also comes across in issue 2 of Maxfield, brought across into issue 4. Of course, we meet up with Julia, and we end up catching up with Owen in return of returning to Cleveland, Ohio. In this, a lot of the art for issues 4 and 5 is also done by Erming, but we also get a bit of art in between there done by David Mack. I'll be able to show you some of the art within the story after I've covered these issues. Moving into issue 5, we still remain in the Cleveland, Ohio, and this time Julia starts to give the mission to Max that he has to bring Essard Sins to her side, or the US side, and he's being the mule for this. So there's a plan to defect Essard Sins with Max. And Julia manages to make her appearance in each and every issue. Yes, we see her when it finally moves to the last issue, to which I'm going to move on to now. But as the last issue begins, we do catch up with Maxfield, and there seems to be a bit of a party going on. And what happened here is the storytelling in this actually gave us more characters that actually work around the main character of Maxfield, to where we meet Sarah, Rick, Lee, Jonah, Sam, Frank, Mayer, and other associates to which he has come to meet. Now, the locations that we come across in this story are in Washington, D.C., and also Brazil, to which the recruitment of, or defection of Essard Sins is about to happen. Of course, it goes through, you see some talk, and then we're given a bit of a rough time period that this is actually taken around maybe a year. There is also another reference that it could be taking place in 1 to 4 years. That could have been made clearer within the story. But now let's get to the rating overall. Starting with the cover, just the trade cover. This is done by David Mack, I believe. And a 7.5 out of 10. Now, I'll show you the art by David Mack within the trade. This is some of the art from David Mack, and he's very consistent, especially when he covers scenes like this for his main comic run, which is addressed in the story as Ninja Odyssey. We also see a comic run which is done by another person that Maxfield knows. A lot of this art is covered by Michael Oeming. Alright, this is done by Michael Avon Oeming. And the art is quite consistent, but you also do see some things that will catch you by surprise by both of the artists. And for the art, 8 out of 10 for David Mack, and 8 out of 10 for Michael Avon Oeming for their part in this story. So, what about the overall story writing? This was a joint effort between Brian Michael Bendis and David Mack. And as I look through the story, as I've examined the story, it is a part of Brian Michael Bendis' Jinx world. So, it's a good thing that it's in its own separate world. It does take quite a bit to get invested into the story. So, in simple terms, spy recruitment of Mack's field, to which he's basically thrown onto his first mission. And the recruiter or handler is Julia. Story rating, 8.5 out of 10. So, after re-examining, looking over the story, I actually enjoy this, and I'm glad it's in its own separate world. Brian Michael Bendis, can you please get out more Jinx World titles so I can review them on this channel? Alright, I prefer you writing stuff for Jinx World than for DC Comics. Until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep it colourful.